saleswoman mocked the chubby girl in the dress. Little did they know who she was. Jennifer Collins was looking at the red dress on the mannequin when she heard laughter behind her. Her cheeks burned with shame, but she kept her posture firm as the two saleswomen whispered mean comments about her body not fitting into that piece. "May I try on this dress?" asked Jennifer, pointing to the model that had caught her eye. The saleswomen, Ashley and Brittany, exchanged looks of disdain. Ashley, a thin young woman with blonde hair, let out a sigh of impatience. "Ma'am, maybe we have something more suitable for your profile in the back of the store," suggested Brittany, trying to disguise her mocking tone. Jennifer felt her heart race, but she didn't back down. At 35, she had spent her whole life hearing comments about her weight, and this moment would be no different. "I would like to try on this dress, please," she repeated, keeping her voice calm. Ashley rolled her eyes and signaled to Brittany with a gesture that Jennifer pretended not to see. "All right, but you know it's a size 44, right?" said Ashley, grabbing the dress reluctantly. In the fitting room, Jennifer heard the saleswomen whispering outside. "Some people don't know their limits," murmured Brittany. "You see all sorts here," replied Ashley, as if an expensive dress could work miracles. Jennifer closed her eyes for a moment, taking a deep breath. She was familiar with that kind of humiliation. For years she had experienced similar situations in stores across the United States. But this time, something was different. The dress was tight, as expected. When she came out of the fitting room, the saleswomen pretended to be busy organizing other items, completely ignoring her presence. An elegant customer entered the boutique at that moment. Ashley and Brittany rushed to assist her with broad smiles and all the kindness they had denied Jennifer. "Good afternoon. How can we help you?" said Ashley, in a sweet voice that completely contrasted with the tone she had used earlier. Jennifer observed the difference in treatment as she changed her clothes. Her indignation grew, but there was also something deeper forming in her chest, a determination she hadn't felt in a long time. As she left the fitting room in her own clothes, she approached the counter where the saleswomen were attending to the other customer. "Thank you anyway," said Jennifer, returning the dress. "No problem," replied Brittany without even looking at her. Jennifer noted the employees' name tags before leaving the store. In the parking lot, she took out her phone and made a call. "Hi, Rebecca, it's me. I need you to do some research for me." "Yes, about a store. I want to know everything about the staff and the owners." "Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out." Now, continuing. In the following days, Jennifer returned to the boutique dressed even more simply. She wore a basic t-shirt and old jeans, purposely chosen to look like a customer with no purchasing power. The same saleswomen greeted her with indifference, immediately directing her to the sale items in the back of the store. "The more affordable things are over there, okay?" said Ashley, pointing to a poorly lit corner. Jennifer pretended to be interested in the cheap products while observing every detail of the store's management. She mentally noted the busy hours, the staff's behavior, and the organization of the establishment. During this second visit, she witnessed a scene that made her even more outraged. An older cleaning lady, Mrs. Dorothy, was being mistreated by the manager. "Dorothy, how many times do I have to tell you not to use that product here in the front?" shouted the manager, Michelle. "The customers are bothered by the strong smell." "Sorry, Mrs. Michelle, but it's the only thing that gets the dirt out," replied the woman, her voice trembling. "Then clean at dawn before the store opens. I don't want to see you out here with that again." Jennifer saw Mrs. Dorothy's eyes fill with tears. The woman must have been about 60 years old and clearly needed the job. "Excuse me," Jennifer interrupted. "Do you have this dress in other sizes?" Michelle turned to her with an annoyed expression for being interrupted. "Which dress?" "That blue one in the display window." "Oh, that one is just for display. We don't have other sizes," lied Michelle, wanting to get rid of Jennifer quickly. Jennifer knew it was a lie. She had seen the same style in various sizes in the stockroom during her observation. On her third visit, she witnessed a scene that stirred something even deeper in her indignation. A shy teenager, who couldn't have been more than 17, was looking for a dress for her prom. "Hi, do you have prom dresses?" asked the girl in a low voice. Brittany looked the girl up and down. The young woman was chubby and wore simple clothes, clearly from a humble family. "Prom? Wow, how nice," said Brittany with fake enthusiasm. "But our dresses are kind of specific, you know. Maybe you'll have better luck at a more mainstream store." "I saved up a lot to buy a pretty dress," said the teenager, her eyes shining. "My grandmother gave me the money." Ashley approached. "Look, honey, our dresses are all imported. They're for a more sophisticated profile, understand? You won't feel comfortable here." The girl left the store in tears, and Jennifer felt her heart break. At that moment, her determination turned into something much more powerful than simple revenge. She approached the counter. "I'd like to speak with you about the store's customer service policy," said Jennifer in a firm voice. "Customer service policy?" Michelle appeared, intrigued. "What's the problem?" "I'd like to see the complaint book." The three women exchanged nervous glances. "Complaint book? We don't deal with that here," lied Michelle. "Every store is required to have one." "It's the law," said Jennifer, who had informed herself about her rights. "Look, ma'am, what exactly do you want?" Michelle was getting irritated. "Just to exercise my rights as a consumer." "Your rights?" Ashley laughed. "You're not even a proper customer. You've been here 3 times and never bought anything." "People like you should look for mainstream stores in the other neighborhoods of the city," added Michelle, not even trying to hide her contempt. Jennifer absorbed every word, storing it all in her memory. She knew that moment would come and she was prepared. The following week, Jennifer showed up accompanied by a well-dressed, elegant woman. "Michelle, I'm Rebecca Morrison, attorney," said Jennifer's companion. "My client is interested in discussing a business opportunity." The change was instant. Michelle's eyes widened at the sight of Rebecca's expensive suit and professional demeanor. "Business? What kind of business?" asked Michelle, suddenly attentive. "We're considering opening a branch in Austin," explained Rebecca. My client was very impressed with the store's standard. Ashley and Brittany approached, curious. The same woman they had humiliated was now sitting on the store's sofa, being served coffee and fine cookies. "Do you have experience in the business?" Michelle asked Jennifer. "Some," Jennifer replied laconically. For the next 2 hours, Jennifer asked specific questions about revenue, human resources policy, employee training, and inventory management. Her questions were precise and demonstrated a deep knowledge of the industry. "Our flagship store is in Charlotte," explained Michelle, "but to be honest, we're going through some financial challenges." "What kind of challenges?" asked Rebecca. "Some of the chain stores are having revenue problems. The owners are considering selling some branches," admitted Michelle, seeing an opportunity to make a good connection. Jennifer and Rebecca exchanged glances. "And what if the interest wasn't just in a branch?" asked Jennifer, for the first time taking the lead in the conversation. "What do you mean?" Michelle didn't understand. What if the interest was in the entire chain? The silence in the store was absolute. Ashley and Brittany stopped organizing the clothes to pay attention to the conversation. "The entire chain?" repeated Michelle, incredulous. "It's a possibility we're considering," said Rebecca. In the following weeks, the negotiations continued. Jennifer discovered that the boutique chain was indeed in crisis. Several stores had closed in the last 2 years due to constant complaints about discriminatory service and issues with the public. Michelle, Ashley, and Brittany began treating Jennifer like royalty, offering the best products, giving special discounts, and trying in every way to make up for their previous treatment. "Jennifer, you have no idea how good it is to have a special customer like you," said Ashley, trying to sound sincere. Jennifer just smiled, observing every desperate move to win her favor. During one of the meetings, Michelle revealed more detailed information about the company's crisis. "To be completely honest, we've lost a lot of customers in recent years. People complain about the service, saying it's very too exclusive." "Exclusive?" asked Jennifer. "You know how it is, right? We've always been a premium brand for a specific clientele." Rebecca took note of everything. The negotiation process lasted 2 months. During this period, Jennifer had access to all the company's financial documents, met the other owners, and analyzed every aspect of the business. It was on a Thursday afternoon that she decided to reveal her true identity. Michelle, Ashley, and Brittany were gathered in the store, when Jennifer arrived accompanied by Rebecca and 2 more lawyers. "We have a final proposal to present," said Rebecca. "That's great," said Michelle, excited. "We're eager to hear it." Jennifer stood up and walked to the center of the store. She stopped exactly at the same spot where she had been humiliated months before. "Before we present the proposal, I need to tell you a story," Jennifer began. "A story?" Ashley was intrigued. "A few months ago, a woman came into this store interested in trying on a red dress. Do you remember her?" Michelle, Ashley, and Brittany exchanged nervous glances. "I remember, sort of," lied Michelle. "That woman was humiliated by the saleswomen, who laughed at her, made nasty comments about her body, and suggested she look for stores more suited to her profile. The discomfort in the air was palpable." "Jennifer, where are you going with this?" asked Michelle, already suspecting what was coming. "I am that woman," said Jennifer, in a calm but firm voice. The silence that followed was deafening. "What do you mean?" Ashley was pale. "I am the woman you humiliated, the same one you said should look for mainstream stores, the same one you ignored in the fitting room." Brittany brought her hands to her mouth, in shock. "But that's not possible," stammered Michelle. "You can't, I can, and I want to buy this chain of stores, and I'm going to transform it completely." Rebecca opened a briefcase and began distributing documents. "Here are the purchase contracts. My client has the financial capacity to acquire all the branches of the chain, but the most surprising revelation was yet to come." "There's one more thing you need to know," said Jennifer, taking a deep breath. "For years, I worked as a cleaner in the corporate building that houses the main office of this store chain." The 3 women were in total shock. "It was while cleaning the rooms that I discovered something about my origin. Documents that were in the chairman's safe. Documents that changed my life forever." Jennifer paused dramatically. "I am the daughter of the original founder of this chain. Elizabeth Collins gave me up for adoption when I was just 3 months old." Michelle almost fainted. "That's impossible," whispered Ashley. "Elizabeth Collins founded this company 40 years ago. She never married, never had any known children. But she had a secret daughter, who was raised by a humble family in Springfield." Rebecca handed out more documents. "Here are the DNA tests, the original birth certificates, and Elizabeth Collins' will, which leaves the entire inheritance to her biological daughter." "Elizabeth died 5 years ago," said Michelle, still trying to process the information. "How did you—" "She tried to find me for years but never succeeded. The documents were kept in the safe, including letters she never had the courage to send." Jennifer took one of the letters from Rebecca's folder and began to read. "My dear daughter, not a day goes by that I don't think of you. I made a terrible mistake by giving you up for adoption, but at the time I thought it would be best for you. I built this empire thinking that one day you would come back home." Tears streamed down Jennifer's face as she continued. "I hope you have become a strong and brave woman, capable of fighting the injustices of the world. I hope you use this inheritance to make a difference in other people's lives." Brittany started crying too, finally understanding the magnitude of what had happened. "Now you understand," said Jennifer, putting the letter away. "You humiliated the very owner of the company you work for." Michelle tried to speak but couldn't form any words. "Jennifer, we didn't know," stammered Ashley. "Didn't know what? That I was the owner? Or didn't know that you should treat all customers with respect and dignity?" Silence fell over the store again. Rebecca stood up. "Starting today, Jennifer Collins officially takes ownership of the entire chain, and there will be significant changes." "What kind of changes?" asked Michelle, her voice trembling. "First, all employees will go through an intensive training program on customer service, diversity, and inclusion," explained Jennifer. "Second, the company's policy will be completely overhauled. This store will be a welcoming space for customers of all profiles, sizes, and social classes." Ashley timidly raised her hand. And our jobs?" Jennifer looked her in the eye. "That depends on you. Those willing to change and learn the company's new values can stay. Those who can't adapt, well, will need to find other paths." In the following days, the transformation began immediately. Jennifer hired diversity specialists to develop a comprehensive training program. Michelle, after a week of reflection, asked to speak privately with Jennifer. "I wanted to apologize to you," she said with her eyes downcast. "What we did was terrible and unforgivable." "Go on," said Jennifer, maintaining a professional stance. "I was raised believing that appearance and money were the most important things. My mother always told me that poor and non-standard people didn't deserve the same treatment." "And do you still believe that?" "No. These last few days have made me realize how many good people I pushed away from my life because of prejudice. How many opportunities to meet amazing people I missed." Jennifer nodded. "Michelle, we all have the opportunity to change, but real change doesn't happen overnight." "I know, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to become a better person." Ashley also approached Jennifer a few days later. "Jennifer, I know I don't deserve it, but I'd like a chance to show I can change." "What makes you think you can change?" "Because I remembered my grandmother. She was a cleaner, like you used to be, and she taught me values I forgot when I started working here." "What values?" "That all people deserve respect, that true elegance lies in character, not appearance, that being kind costs nothing." Jennifer smiled for the first time since revealing her identity. "Then let's see if you can put those values into practice." Brittany, however, couldn't handle the change. In the second week, she handed in her resignation letter. "I can't do it," she told Jennifer. "Every time I look at you, I remember what we did, and every time I help a different customer, I keep wondering if I'm doing things right or wrong." "Brittany, that's normal. Change is uncomfortable indeed." "But I can't sleep at night, and I think it would be better for everyone if I left." Jennifer accepted the decision with understanding. "I wish you luck, and I hope you take the lessons from here to your next opportunity." The training program lasted 3 months. During this period, the store underwent a complete renovation, both physically and conceptually. The walls were painted in more welcoming colors, the fitting rooms were enlarged to accommodate people of all sizes. The lighting was softened to be more flattering, and most importantly, the clothing section was expanded to include sizes from 36 to 56. Mrs. Dorothy, the cleaning employee who had been mistreated, received a surprise promotion. "Dorothy, would you like to become our customer service supervisor?" asked Jennifer. "Supervisor? But I can't even read properly," the lady replied, startled. "You have something you can't learn from books, empathy, and that's what we need here." "But I don't understand fine clothing." "You understand people, and that's much more important." Mrs. Dorothy accepted the proposal and became one of the employees most beloved by customers. Her natural kindness and ability to make people feel welcome completely transformed the store's atmosphere. 3 months after the renovation, Jennifer was organizing the final details for the reopening when a young woman entered the store. It was the same teenager who had been humiliated months before. "Hi, do you have prom dresses?" asked the girl, with the same timid voice as before. Ashley, who was on duty, smiled genuinely. "Of course we do. And what color do you prefer?" "I wanted something special. It's for my college graduation." "College? That's great. What did you graduate in?" "Education. I always dreamed of being a teacher." Ashley spent the next hour helping the young woman try on different styles, offering adjustment options, and giving honest advice about what best enhanced her natural beauty. When the girl chose an elegant navy blue dress, Ashley surprised her. "You know what? Today is special discount day for future teachers." "Really?" "Of course, teachers are heroes. They deserve to be treated as such." Jennifer watched the scene from afar, feeling her heart fill with pride and emotion. The reopening was scheduled for a Friday afternoon. Jennifer made sure to wear the same red dress she had tried on the day of the humiliation, now perfectly tailored by a specialized seamstress. "This dress has a special story," she told the people present. "It represents everything this store was and everything it has become." The event was a success. Customers of all backgrounds, sizes and ages moved through the store, feeling welcome and respected. During the party, Jennifer found Michelle talking with an elderly client about different clothing styles for each occasion. "How do you feel?" asked Jennifer. "Different, very different," replied Michelle. "You know what's strange? I enjoy work much more now." "Why?" "Because learning people's stories is fascinating. That lady over there has been a widow for 2 years and is looking for a special outfit for her granddaughter's wedding. It's the first time she's dressed up since losing her husband." Jennifer smiled. "And how did you help her?" "We talked about what would make her feel beautiful and confident without overdoing it. We chose an outfit that honors her husband's memory, but also celebrates this new phase of life." "You understood." "I understood what our grandmother Elizabeth meant in that letter. Making a difference in people's lives is much more rewarding than just selling expensive clothes." Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now continuing. In the following months, the store became a reference for inclusive service. News of the transformation spread through social media and local press, attracting clients from across the region. Jennifer implemented several innovations in company management. She created an internship program for youth from underprivileged communities, offering work opportunities and professional development for those who'd never had a chance in the fashion industry. "Why are you doing this?" asked Ashley during a team meeting. "Because I know what it's like to grow up without opportunities. I know what it's like to be judged by appearance before even opening your mouth, and I know everyone deserves a chance." One of the interns, Melissa, was an 18-year-old who lived in a slum near downtown. At first, she felt intimidated by the store's elegant environment. "Jennifer, I don't know if I'm cut out for this," Melissa confessed on the first day. "Why do you think that?" "I don't speak properly like you all. I don't know these expensive brands. I don't know how to treat rich people." "Melissa, you know how to treat people, and that's all that matters. The rest we learn." Over time, Melissa became one of the employees most beloved by clients. Her authenticity and ability to make people feel comfortable won over everyone who entered the store. The company grew exponentially under Jennifer's management. Within a year, she opened 3 new branches, all following the same principles of inclusion and respect. But growth brought new challenges. During a visit to the Miami branch, Jennifer discovered some longtime employees were resisting the changes. "Jennifer, can we talk?" asked Amanda, manager of the Miami store. "Of course. What's the problem?" "Some girls here are complaining that we're losing wealthy clients because of this policy of treating everyone equally." "And is it true?" "I don't know. Some regular clients stopped coming, but many new ones have arrived." Jennifer called a meeting with all employees of the branch. "I heard you're concerned about losing long-time clients," she began. "It's just that before the store had status, you know," said one of the saleswomen, Lauren. "Now anyone can come in here. And what's wrong with that? The problem is our VIP clients don't want to share space with other people." Jennifer took a deep breath. It was the same mindset she had faced in the original store. "Lauren, let me tell you a story. 2 years ago, a woman named Catherine came into our flagship store looking for a dress for her daughter's wedding. She worked as a housekeeper and had saved for 2 years to buy something special. Okay, so what? Her daughter married the son of one of our VIP clients. At the party, the groom's mother asked where Catherine had bought that beautiful dress. When she found out it was from our store, she brought 5 more friends the following week. Lauren became thoughtful. What I mean is, respecting all people doesn't drive away quality customers. It attracts them, because people of true value value human dignity. "But what if some old customers still don't come back?" asked Amanda. "Then they weren't the customers we want to have." The conversation continued for over an hour. Jennifer patiently explained the philosophy behind the changes, shared success stories from the other stores, and showed the company's growth numbers. At the end of the meeting, Lauren approached Jennifer. "I'm sorry, I had never thought about it that way." "It's okay, changing mindsets takes time. It's just that I've always worked believing that exclusivity was synonymous with quality. Now I realize I was confusing exclusivity with exclusion. 2 months later, the Miami branch was among the highest rated by customers in the entire network. During this expansion period, Jennifer also decided to implement a personal project she had been saving for a long time, creating a clothing line specially developed for people with disabilities. "Why this line?" asked Ashley when Jennifer presented the idea. "Because during my research on inclusion, I discovered that people with disabilities face enormous difficulties in finding beautiful and functional clothes." "How so?" "Imagine a person who uses a wheelchair trying to find pants that look good in a seated position, or a person with a prosthesis looking for clothes that enhance their beauty without hiding their reality." The inclusive clothing line was developed in partnership with specialized designers and consultants with disabilities. Each piece was designed to be functional, elegant, and enhance the unique beauty of every person. The launch of the line was a landmark event. Jennifer invited models with disabilities for the fashion show, turning the presentation into a celebration of human diversity. "I never thought I'd see something like this in a fashion store," commented Helen, a 25-year-old young woman who used a wheelchair. "I always thought I'd have to settle for dull clothes for the rest of my life." "All people deserve to feel beautiful and elegant," replied Jennifer, "and our responsibility is to create solutions to make that possible." The success of the inclusive line brought national recognition to the company. Jennifer was invited to speak at universities and social entrepreneurship events. During one of these lectures at Columbia University, a student asked a question that deeply marked her. "Jennifer, what motivated you not to give up after being humiliated in that store?" Jennifer thought for a moment before answering. "I think it was the initial anger, but over time, the anger turned into something bigger. The desire to ensure that other people don't go through what I went through." "And if you hadn't discovered you were the company's heir, would you have done the same thing?" "That's an interesting question. I think so in a different way. Maybe I would have created my own company or worked in social organizations. The discovery about my origin gave me the resources to act, but the motivation was already there." After the lecture, Jennifer was approached by several students who shared their own experiences with discrimination, some because of their weight, others because of their skin color, others because of their social background. "What can you do to change this reality?" Jennifer asked the group of young people that had gathered around her. "Start small," suggested one of the girls. "Exactly. Every person you treat with respect and dignity is a small revolution. Every time you refuse to laugh at someone different, you're building a better world." Back at the flagship store, Jennifer found a surprise waiting for her. Mrs. Dorothy had organized a surprise party to celebrate the second anniversary of the store's transformation. "Mrs. Dorothy, you didn't have to," said Jennifer, moved. "Oh, but I did. You changed my life and the lives of so many people here." The party was simple but full of affection. All the store employees were present, along with some special customers and even the teenager who had graduated in education. "Jennifer, do you remember me?" asked the young teacher. "Of course. How is your career going?" "Wonderful. And you know what's amazing? I tell my students the story of this store as an example that we can always change and improve." "That's beautiful. And how do they react?" "Some don't believe it at first. They think it's just a nice story. But when I bring them here to see how you serve everyone, they understand that real change is possible." During the party, Michelle gave an emotional speech. "I wanted to thank Jennifer for giving me the chance to become a better person. Before I saw differences as flaws. Today I see them as richness." "Go on," encouraged Jennifer. "I learned that true elegance is about making other people feel special, and that real luxury is being able to transform someone's day with a simple act of kindness." Ashley also wanted to speak. "I grew up thinking beauty had a single standard. Working here, I discovered there are as many types of beauty as there are people in the world, and our role is to help each person find their own version of beautiful." The employee's words moved everyone present. Jennifer realized that the transformation had gone far beyond the company's commercial aspects. That night, alone in her apartment, Jennifer reread the letters her biological mother had left. In one of them, Elizabeth wrote something that seemed prophetic. "I hope you use your strength to build bridges where others have built walls. I hope you are the change the world needs to see." Jennifer smiled, feeling she had finally understood the true purpose of her inheritance. The following year, the company launched a national social franchising program. The idea was to allow other people to open stores in their cities, following the same principles of inclusion and respect. "How exactly does it work?" asked Meredith, an entrepreneur from Tampa interested in the proposal. "You pay a symbolic franchise fee and receive all the necessary training, but you must commit to our values of inclusion and respectful service. And if I can't maintain the standard, we have a team that makes regular visits to provide support and guidance. Our goal isn't to punish, but to help improve." The program was an immediate success. Within 6 months, 15 new stores were opened in different states across the United States. Each new franchisee underwent an intensive 1-week training at the flagship store, where they learned not only about sales and management, but especially about the company's values. "What is more important, selling a lot or serving well?" Jennifer would ask during the trainings. "Serving well," the future franchisees would respond. "Why?" "Because when we serve well, sales come naturally, and because it makes a difference in people's lives." One of the most special franchisees was Joan, a 50-year-old woman who had lost her job during the pandemic and decided to invest her savings in opening a store in Portland. "Jennifer, I'm afraid I won't make it," confessed Joan during the training. "Afraid of what specifically?" "I've always been an employee. I've never been a boss. What if I don't know how to lead a team?" "Joan, leadership isn't about giving orders. It's about serving your team and your customers as best as you can." "What do you mean?" "Your role as a leader is to ensure your team has the tools and knowledge needed to do good work, and that your customers leave the store feeling better than when they entered." 6 months after opening, Joan's store was among the highest rated in the chain. Her secret was authenticity. She treated every employee like a daughter and every customer like family. "What changed in your life after you opened the store?" asked Jennifer during a visit to Portland. "Everything, mainly my self-esteem. Before, I felt useless after I lost my job. Today, I know I'm making a difference in people's lives." "How so?" "Last week, a woman came in here crying. Her husband had asked for a divorce and she felt old and ugly. We spent 3 hours talking and trying on clothes. When she left, she was smiling and feeling beautiful again." "And how did that affect you?" "It made me realize my job isn't to sell clothes. It's to help people rediscover their self-esteem." Stories like Joan's multiplied across the United States. The store chain was creating a culture of women's empowerment that went far beyond commerce. During the 3rd year of the new management, Jennifer decided to implement one more innovation: a mentorship program for women entrepreneurs. "The idea is to use our structure to help other women achieve their dreams of starting a business," she explained during a meeting with the executive team. "How would it work?" asked Rebecca, who had become the company's legal director. "Women with business ideas can apply to the program. The selected ones receive business guidance, initial financial support, and space in our stores to promote their products." "And what's the return for the company?" "The return is seeing more women financially independent and more businesses run on principles of respect and inclusion." The mentorship program revealed incredible talents. One of the first selected was Catherine, a 38-year-old seamstress who created clothes adapted for the elderly. "My grandmother had to stop wearing nice clothes when she started having mobility difficulties," explained Catherine during her project presentation. "All clothes for the elderly are ugly and dull." "And what's your proposal?" "To create beautiful and functional clothes for senior citizens, dresses with discreet openings for easy access to catheters, blouses with magnetic buttons for those with arthritis, comfortable yet elegant pants." Catherine's project was an immediate success. The clothes were displayed in all the chain stores and quickly gained a national market. "I never imagined I'd be a business owner," said Catherine 6 months after the launch. "I thought only people with a lot of education could start a business." "And what did you learn?" "That the most important thing isn't a diploma, it's the desire to solve people's real problems." Another remarkable project was Kelly's, a graphic designer who created a line of prints inspired by American culture. "I wanted to create prints that told our stories," explained Kelly, "prints that celebrated our cultural diversity." Kelly's prints, inspired by elements of American folklore, indigenous paintings, and African art, gave a unique visual identity to the chain's clothes. "It's amazing to see people wearing our culture with pride," commented Jennifer during the launch of the new collection. In the 4th year of the transformation, the company faced its first major challenge. The competition, bothered by the chain's success, started a smear campaign questioning the product's quality and suggesting that the low prices indicated poor quality. "How are we going to handle this?" asked Michelle, now the chain's customer service director. "The same way we've always handled challenges, with transparency and serious work," replied Jennifer. "But they're spreading lies about our products." "Let them spread lies. We'll spread truths." The company's response was to open its doors for technical visits. Customers, suppliers, and even competitors were invited to learn about the production processes, quality control, and employee training. "We have nothing to hide," said Jennifer during a press conference. "Our prices are fair because our profit margin is lower, not because our quality is inferior." "And why did you choose a lower margin?" asked a journalist. "Because we believe quality fashion should be accessible, and because we prefer to sell more to more people than to sell a lot to a few people." The company's transparency surprised the market and further strengthened customer trust. Sales increased 30% in the quarter following the crisis. During this period, Jennifer also faced a personal challenge. She discovered she had a half-sister, the daughter of a relationship Elizabeth had years after giving Jennifer up for adoption. "Why are you looking for me?" asked Lucy, the half-sister, during their first meeting. "Because we're family, and because I believe Elizabeth would have wanted us to know each other. I don't want anything from the inheritance, if that's what you're worried about." "It's not about money, Lucy, it's about connection." Lucy, 42 years old, was a doctor and had grown up knowing her mother. Her relationship with Elizabeth had been complicated. "She always talked about you," Lucy shared. "Said she had made the biggest mistake of her life by giving you up for adoption." "And how did you feel hearing that?" "Angry. I thought she liked a daughter she didn't even know more than me, who was there every day." The two sisters spent months getting to know each other, sharing memories and trying to build a relationship. Lucy gradually became involved with the company, offering medical consulting for the adapted clothing line. "I never imagined selling clothes could have such an impact on people's lives," commented Lucy, after visiting one of the stores. "Any business can be a tool for social transformation, if we want it to be," replied Jennifer. The sisters' relationship strengthened when they created together a special clothing line for hospital patients. "When people are hospitalized, they feel vulnerable and depersonalized," explained Lucy. "Beautiful and comfortable clothes can help with emotional recovery." The hospital line was donated to several public health institutions, marking another expansion of the company's social impact. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out, now continuing. In the 5th year of the transformation, Jennifer decided to write a book telling her story. From the Fitting Room to Business, A Story of Overcoming became a national bestseller. "Why did you want to write the book?" asked a journalist during the launch. "Because I believe stories of overcoming can inspire other people not to give up on their dreams." "What message would you like people to take from your experience?" "That humiliation can be turned into motivation, that we all have the power to change our reality, and that small actions can have big impacts." The book inspired thousands of readers to share their own stories of discrimination and overcoming. Jennifer received hundreds of letters from people who had changed their way of treating others after reading the book. One of the most moving letters came from Brittany, the former employee who had resigned. "Jennifer, I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I wanted you to know that your book changed my life. I understood that it was my insecurity that made me belittle other people. Today I work at an NGO that helps women who are victims of domestic violence, and every day I try to be the person you taught me to be." Jennifer replied to the letter, inviting Brittany to visit her. The reunion was emotional for both of them. "Have you managed to forgive yourself?" asked Jennifer. "I'm still learning, but every woman I help regain her self-esteem makes me feel like I'm contributing to repairing the damage I caused." And what have you learned about yourself? That I hurt other people because I was hurting inside. And that healing doesn't happen alone, it needs community and purpose. Brittany became an external collaborator for the company, developing workshops on self-esteem and women's empowerment. The 6th year brought an international achievement. The network was invited to participate in an inclusive fashion fair in Paris, representing the United States. "How do you feel about taking this project abroad?" asked Rebecca before the trip. "Anxious and proud. Anxious because it's a huge responsibility to represent the United States. Proud because we're showing that it's possible to do business with purpose." The fashion show in Paris was a success. Models of all ages, sizes, and abilities presented the creations of the American brand, earning applause from an international audience. "You're changing the concept of fashion," commented a French critic. "It's not just about clothes, it's about human dignity." After the international success, proposals for expansion to other countries began to arrive. Jennifer, however, preferred to focus on the domestic market. "Why don't you want to expand to other countries?" asked an interested investor. "Because we still have a lot of work to do here in the United States. I'd rather consolidate our mission nationally before thinking about international expansion. But the profit opportunity would be much greater. For me, success isn't measured only in profit, it's measured by how many lives we can positively impact." During the 7th year, the company launched an ambitious project, the country's first inclusive fashion school. "The idea is to train professionals who graduate with an inclusive mindset," explained Jennifer during the inauguration. "How will the course work?" asked an interested student. "Besides traditional fashion subjects, you'll study diversity, consumer psychology, anthropology, and social responsibility." "And will the job market accept professionals with this profile?" The market is changing. Companies are realizing that diversity and inclusion aren't just ethical issues but also strategic ones. The first class at the school graduated with 25 students, all employed even before graduation. The difference lay in their ability to create fashion solutions for audiences traditionally ignored by the industry. One of the most impactful graduation projects was developed by Amber, a 22-year-old who created a clothing line for children with Down syndrome. "I noticed that mothers of these children have a lot of difficulty finding beautiful and functional clothes," explained Amber. "Most children's clothing doesn't consider the specific needs of these kids." "What specific needs?" asked one of the evaluators. "Larger openings to make dressing easier, softer fabrics for sensitive skin, and cuts that highlight each child's unique beauty." Amber's project was adopted by the company and became a permanent line, benefiting thousands of families across the country. In the 8th year, the company faced its first major loss. Mrs. Dorothy, who had become a mother figure to the entire team, was diagnosed with advanced stage cancer. "I don't want you all to be sad," she told the team during a meeting. "I've had 8 wonderful years working here, years that made me feel useful and valued." "Mrs. Dorothy, we will fight alongside you," said Ashley, her eyes filled with tears. "I will fight, yes. But if God calls me, I want you all to continue spreading love and respect wherever you go." During the 6 months of treatment, the entire company team mobilized to support Mrs. Dorothy. A fund was created to help with medical costs, and employees took turns accompanying her to appointments. "I have never felt so loved," she told Jennifer during a chemotherapy session. "You changed our lives, Mrs. Dorothy. It's the least we can do." "Do you know what makes me proudest?" "What?" "Seeing how you all have learned to care for one another. That is what makes a company special." Mrs. Dorothy made a full recovery from cancer, but decided to retire to spend more time with her family. "Jennifer, may I make one last request?" she said on her retirement day. "Of course, whatever you wish. That you never forget that behind every client there is a story, and that our job is to make that story a little happier." Mrs. Dorothy's retirement was marked by an emotional party where clients and employees gathered to honor her. "Mrs. Dorothy taught us all that kindness is the most elegant form of power," said Jennifer during the farewell speech. To replace her, Jennifer promoted Melissa, the former intern who had grown professionally in the company. I accept the position, but on one condition, said Melissa. What? That we can create a trainee program for young people from the outskirts. I want to give others the same opportunity you gave me. I love the idea. Let's implement it. The trainee program became one of the company's most successful projects, training dozens of young professionals who brought the values of inclusion to other companies. In the 9th year, Jennifer was invited to be the keynote speaker at an international conference on corporate social responsibility. What makes a company truly responsible? Asked the moderator during her talk. Acknowledging that its decisions affect people's lives and making decisions that positively impact those lives, replied Jennifer. And how can a company measure that impact? Not just by financial numbers, but by the transformation stories it generates. A responsible company creates a legacy of dignity and respect. During the talk, Jennifer shared several stories of clients who had regained their self-esteem, employees who had discovered their potential, and suppliers who had grown professionally. Profit is important, yes, but it is the result of doing the right thing, not the ultimate goal, she concluded. The talk was broadcast live and watched by over 100,000 people worldwide, inspiring many entrepreneurs to rethink their practices. At the end of the 9th year, Jennifer decided to do something she had planned since the beginning of the transformation: open a store in Springfield, the city where she had grown up. Why is it important to open a store there? Asked Lucy, who had become a partner in the company. Because I want to give the community that raised me the same opportunity I had: access to quality fashion and dignified employment. The opening of the store in Springfield was a special event. Jennifer invited the family that had raised her, teachers from the school she attended, and neighbors who had been with her during her childhood. When Jennifer was little, she already showed a special concern for those who were suffering, said Mrs. Rose, her adoptive mother, during the inauguration. I always knew she would do great things. And how do you feel seeing all this? Asked a local journalist. Proud, but not surprised. Jennifer has always had a heart too big to be contained within herself. The Springfield store became a community gathering spot, offering not just clothing but also training courses and cultural events. One of the most emotional moments of the 10th year was when Jennifer received an unexpected call. Jennifer, this is Isabella Parker. It took Jennifer a few seconds to remember. It was the shy teenager who had been humiliated in the original store years before. Isabella, how are you? I'm great. I graduated in business administration, and I'm working at a multinational company. But I called for another reason. What is it? I want to work with you. I want to be part of a company that believes in people. Isabella joined the team as human resources manager and brought a valuable perspective on identifying and developing young talent. What motivated you to want to work here? Jennifer asked during the onboarding. That day when I was humiliated in this store changed my life in 2 ways. First, it made me understand firsthand what discrimination feels like. Second, it showed me that we can always choose to be different. How so? I could have become a bitter and prejudiced person because of that experience, but I chose to use that pain to become a more empathetic and fair person. With Isabella on the team, the company developed one of the country's most advanced human development programs, focused on identifying potential beyond appearances. During the 11th year, Jennifer faced her biggest temptation: a multi-million-dollar offer to buy the company from an international conglomerate. It's an offer you can't refuse, said Rebecca, during the meeting where they analyzed the proposal. Why? Asked Jennifer. Because with that money you could create other companies, help many more people. But I would lose control over the values we built here. Not necessarily. They guaranteed they would maintain the company's philosophy. Jennifer asked for a week to think. During that period, she spoke with employees, customers, and even competitors. What are you afraid of losing? Asked Lucy. The company's soul. When you grow too fast, it's easy to lose sight of what made you special. What if they really maintain the values? Values don't maintain themselves. They need to be cultivated daily by people who truly believe in them. At the end of the week, Jennifer refused the offer. I'd rather have a smaller, genuine company than a giant, empty one, she explained to the investors. But you could help many more people with the reach of a multinational, argued one of the buyers. Perhaps. But you could also lose the essence that makes this help authentic. I'd rather genuinely transform 1,000 lives than superficially touch millions of lives. The decision to refuse the sale further strengthened the team's and customers' confidence in Jennifer's leadership. The 12th year brought special recognition. The company was chosen as the most respected in the United States in the fashion retail category. "How do you explain this recognition?" asked a journalist during the ceremony. "I think it's the result of years of doing the right thing, even when it was more difficult or less profitable," Jennifer replied. "And what was the right thing?" "Treating all people with dignity, valuing employees, creating products that solve real problems, being transparent in all our practices. What advice would you give other business owners? That real success isn't measured just by what you gain, but by what you contribute, and that a company can be a force for social transformation if it's led with purpose." During the celebration party, Jennifer looked around and saw dozens of people whose lives had been touched by the company. Former employees who had started their own businesses, customers who had regained their self-esteem, suppliers who had grown professionally. "What are you thinking about?" asked Ashley, who had become one of the company's top executives. "I'm thinking about the first time I walked into this store 12 years ago. I never imagined that a humiliation could turn into so much good. And if you could go back in time and change that day, I wouldn't change a thing. That pain was necessary to teach me what I didn't want to be, and it gave me the strength to fight for what I wanted to build." What was the most important lesson from this whole journey? That the difference between victim and victor isn't in what happens to you, but in what you do with what happens to you. At that moment, a young employee approached. "Jennifer, sorry to interrupt, but there's a customer outside who wants to speak with you." "A customer? About what?" "She said she wants to thank you for something that happened a long time ago." Jennifer left the party and found a woman around 40 years old waiting in the store. "Are you Jennifer?" asked the woman. "Yes, I am. How can I help you?" "My name is Patricia. 8 years ago, I was going through a very painful separation and felt terrible about myself. I walked into one of your stores looking for a dress for a party I didn't want to attend." "Go on," encouraged Jennifer. "The salesperson spent 3 hours with me, helping me choose clothes, talking about self-esteem and making me feel beautiful again. That day changed my life." "That's wonderful. And how are you now?" "I'm great. I got married again, started my own business, and have 2 beautiful children, but I never forgot the kindness of that employee." "And why did you decide to come here today?" "Because today marks 8 years since that day, and I wanted to thank you in person. I also wanted to say that whenever I can, I tell your story to other women going through tough times." Jennifer was moved. "How did you know I was the owner of the company?" "I read about your story and recognized the values I learned that day, values that changed my life and that I now pass on to my children." Conversations like this became increasingly frequent. The company had created a virtuous cycle where satisfied customers became ambassadors of the brand's values. In the 13th year, Jennifer decided to implement her most ambitious project, creating a foundation dedicated to women's empowerment. "The idea is to use everything we've learned building this company to help other women achieve their dreams," she explained during the foundation's announcement. "What kind of help will you offer?" asked a journalist. "Microcredit for small businesses, training courses, business mentorship, and psychological support for women who have suffered violence or discrimination." "And how will the company fund this foundation?" "By allocating 10% of our annual profits to the foundation's projects. It's our way of giving back to society part of what we've received. The foundation started small, serving 50 women in the first year, but the impact was immense. Many managed to leave abusive relationships. Others started small businesses that supported their families. One of the beneficiaries was Mary, a 35-year-old woman who had left a violent marriage with 3 children to raise. "I didn't believe I could start over," Mary shared during a foundation meeting. "I thought I was too old, had too little education, and had too many responsibilities." "And what changed?" asked Jennifer. "You made me believe I had value. You gave me training to start a small homemade sweets business, and most importantly, you gave me the strength not to give up. How's the business now? Growing every month. I already have 3 employees and am able to provide a decent life for my children. And how do you feel? For the first time in my life, I feel powerful. In a good way. Powerful to take care of my family, to help other women, and to be an example for my daughters. Stories like Mary's multiplied quickly. In 3 years, the foundation had already served over 1,000 women across the United States. The 15th year was marked by a special tribute. Jennifer was invited to receive the title of Honorary Citizen of New York in recognition of her services to the community. It's an honor to receive this recognition, but I want to share it with all the people who made this journey possible, she said during the ceremony at the City Council. Which people? Asked the councilman conducting the tribute. Employees who embraced the mission of transforming lives through work, customers who trusted our proposal, suppliers who grew with us, and especially all the women who had the courage to restart their lives. What message would you like to leave for young women who dream of starting a business? That they don't wait to have all the perfect conditions to begin, that they be driven by purpose, not just by profit, and that they always remember that true success is measured by the lives we manage to touch positively. After the ceremony, Jennifer visited the original store where it had all begun. The space had been renovated several times over the years, but she made sure to keep a small, discreet plaque near the fitting room. Here began our journey of transformation, March 15th, 2010. Why did you insist on keeping this plaque? Asked a visitor who was on a tour of the store. To remember that great changes can start in the most difficult moments, and to honor the pain that taught me to create joy for other people. And how do you want to be remembered? Jennifer thought for a moment, as someone who turned humiliation into humanization, who used her pain to lessen the pain of others, and who proved that it's possible to do business with heart. At the end of that year, the company completed 15 years of transformation. During the birthday celebration, Jennifer gave an emotional summary of the period. When I entered this store for the first time, I was just a wounded woman looking for a pretty dress. Today we are a family of over 1,000 employees. We serve millions of customers, and we've created an inclusion movement that has spread across the entire country. What was the most memorable moment of this entire journey? Asked Michelle. Hard to choose just one. But I think it was when I realized that our mission had transcended commerce and become a social movement. When did that happen? When I started receiving letters from people who had never bought anything from us, but had changed their way of treating others after learning our story. And what is your greatest pride? Seeing how many people became better versions of themselves, employees who discovered their potential, customers who regained their self-esteem, and even competitors who changed their practices inspired by our example. And what still needs to be done? A lot. There is still a lot of discrimination in the world. There are still people feeling diminished because of their appearance, origin, or social condition. As long as that exists, our work will not be finished. During the party, a special surprise awaited Jennifer. Ashley had secretly organized a meeting with all the people who had been impacted by the company over the 15 years. Jennifer, there are over 300 people here who wanted to come thank you in person, announced Ashley. Among those present were former employees who had opened their own businesses, customers who had regained their self-esteem, beneficiaries of the foundation who had changed their lives, and even former competitors who had changed their practices. This is amazing, said Jennifer, moved. But you need to understand that I'm the one who is thankful. You gave me purpose and meaning. How so? Asked a former employee. Alone, I would just be a businesswoman. With you, I became part of something much bigger, a movement of transformation that will continue long after my own lifetime. The party lasted until dawn, with people sharing stories, reconnecting with friends, and celebrating the changes they had experienced. When she was finally alone in the store, already in the early hours, Jennifer walked to the fitting room mirror where she had tried on the red dress 15 years earlier. Thank you, she whispered, looking at her own reflection. Thank you for not giving up when it hurts so much. Thank you for turning tears into fight. And thank you for proving that one person can make a difference." In that moment, she knew her mother Elizabeth would be proud, not just of the successful businesswoman she had become, but especially of the woman who had used her strength to build bridges where others built walls. As she left the store in the early morning, Jennifer looked at the sign at the entrance, "Inclusive Fashion Elizabeth Collins, where every woman is welcome." It was more than a company. It was a legacy of dignity, respect, and transformation that would continue impacting lives for many generations. And so what began as a painful humiliation had become the most beautiful example of how adversity can be the seed of the most powerful social change. End of story. Now tell me, what did you think of this story of overcoming and transformation? Do you believe Jennifer made the right decisions by choosing human values over maximum profit? Leave your honest opinion in the comments and tell us where you're watching from. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other inspiring narratives about overcoming and female empowerment.